Wow, we're at stage 5 with Simon Bradbury giving his heart and soul to the world of UK estate agency on how to improve conversion rates. Now, you've got your conversion rates from around 32, 33% up to over 50% in a year.
Yep.
And you noticed that there were 4 main issues that your valuers could improve on. And you've promised me, and you're a man of your word, that you are going to give me and the world some top tips on these 4 points on how they can also improve their conversion rates. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. In the first bit, you said agenda setting. So let's go through that in a little bit more detail. Give some top tips to the guys out there of when you walk through the door and take your shoes off, what exceptional looks like.
Okay. First of all, before you even get to that stage, I think as all good and effective salespeople need to do, you need to put yourself in the mindset of the person that you are seeing. That mindset will range, of course, from person to person. And I would still assume that whether this is a person who's never sold a house before or whether it's their 10th house to sell, there's going to be an element of nervousness. If there is an element of nervousness, there's going to be an element of uncertainty. What's going to happen?
Stranger in my house.
Yeah, of course.
Let's be honest, there's Peter Knight, who's a mutual friend of ours. He says it's all about people going from one aspect of a chapter of their life to another.
Yes.
And there's going to be a certain amount of flux in there, isn't there?
There is. And I'm going to cover that flux and those concerns with one of the other sections that we're going to cover.
It's good here.
But in terms of the agenda setting, this is what I believe, this is what I found, this is what we trained, and this is what we've improved upon. Except that the person, if they're not going to be confused, are going to be a little bit uncertain. Put their mind at rest by explaining to them what you're going to do, that you're going to look around the house, that you're going to take full measurements.
And that's you're going into the valuation, you must take your shoes off?
No, always offer to take your shoes off.
Okay.
Yeah.
What and don't go straight up on the val or measure up,
no,
go and sit down.
What we recommend is offer to take your shoes off, sit down at the table or a sofa, check the hard facts, name, address, all the stuff that you need, and then say to the person, this is what I'd like to do. What I'd like to do, Mr. Vendor, is to have a good look round the property. I'm going to take full measurements. I'd love you to come round with me and point out all the various...
You measure up?
Yes. The reason that we measure up, and what we explain in the agenda setting section, is we measure up so we've got the ability to make a more accurate valuation. And that's a really, really important thing.
Excellent.
The other thing that you say under the agenda setting is you explain to them you'd like them to come round with you. You explain the order that you're going to go around. So you might start outside, you might start inside, whatever it is, so they can see that you're in control and you know what's happening. Give an indication as to the length of time. And I would just throw in a little benefit statement along the lines of, and what I'm going to do then, Mr. Vendor, is I'm going to explain to you why more and more people, which we could factually say is the case, according to our statistics, why more and more people are turning to Thomas Morris to sell their property, and then finish off by giving them an indication as to the amount of time it will take, and also then to seek their agreement. Once you've got a yes from them, then you're then ready, they're comfortable, you're comfortable, you know exactly what's going to happen.
And you're getting a yes, which I think is psychologically important.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think sometimes that's a bit overplayed. Rather than get a tacit yes, I'd rather people say to me, well, actually, no, an hour's going to be too long because I've got the next valuer coming in, or oh, I'm not comfortable about doing this. The important thing is to understand, get into sync with them, and if you can get a yes, well, obviously you're off to a good start.
Excellent. The second one was questioning skills on the walk round of the free val.
Yeah.
So again, tell me what good looks like.
Okay. Could I tell you what good doesn't look like first?
Do it. Because in the previous video, you talked about they were professional.
Yes. So what they will be doing is they'll be saying, okay, Mr. Vendor, this is a fantastic bedroom. This is the measurement, beep, beep. This is the other measurement, beep, beep. Some nice windows. And yes, that's a really nice fitted wardrobe there.
Yeah, very professional.
Very professional.
Not personable, though.
Not personable. Now, this is where I think one has to be a little careful. If you overly egg this particular pudding and try to force out some interest that isn't there, it isn't going to work.
People will spot it, won't they?
They will. So I say, first of all, be sincere, be honest, be truthful and genuine. I've got 2 or 3 favourite questions, and they will be something like, whilst you're measuring up, So I understand, Mr. Vendor, that you bought this property a few years ago and that you sold another property previously. Can you tell me about your experience with your last estate agent?
That's interesting. You're doing that on the walk round.
Yeah. And then what we're doing is that we're identifying, this isn't Machiavellian or manipulative. What it is trying to find out the previous experiences that these people have had.
Do you think they're more likely to say those when they're walking around?
Totally, that's it, Chris, you've got it. They, if you sit down, I mean, it can be done in a more formal setting, but when you're looking around the property, they're feeling a bit more relaxed, and they're going to come out with more and more information.
Well, they are.
Yes.
But if you sat down, it's like an interrogation, isn't it?
Yes, exactly right.
Okay.
And if whilst you're doing that, the very top negotiators that I've seen are also taking notes separately about those previous experiences. And the really super moving from exceptional to A1 plus class are people that use reflective statements, really tuning in to a person's emotions, both positive and negative, and really getting that emotional tuning right.
So what would that look like then?
Okay, so an example of using a negative reflective statement where you're attempting to associate the prospective vendor's negative emotions with a previous estate agency experience might look something like this. You might ask them what their previous experience was like, and they might say it wasn't very good.
Let's have a little bit of a role play now.
Okay, right. So, Mr. Vendor, you said you were on with XYZ estate agent last time. What was that like?
It did take a long time to sell, and
Did it?
And to be honest with you, we didn't have many viewings, and we had to keep ringing them for feedback.
Right, you had to keep ringing them for feedback.
Yeah,
How did you feel about that?
it felt like I was doing their job for them.
Yeah, you don't look very happy about it. And it's that last statement, you don't look very happy about it, where you're reflecting back. You're not saying bad things about your competition, you're getting them to reflect upon that. That's a negative reflective statement. So we do want to do a role play for a positive reflective statement.
Do I have to say something positive then?
Yes.
Okay then, go for it.
Okay.
Then. Yeah.
So I understand that you used my colleagues at our St Neots branch last year when you sold your property. What was that like?
They're absolutely fantastic. They were
Really?
on the ball. They rang. Feedback was instantaneous. They were just amazing.
So the feedback was important to you,
Yes, it was.
and it was instantaneous.
Yes, it was.
You look very happy about that.
It's very clever.
Yeah, it's not clever. It's just simple, effective selling. As I said, it's not meant to be manipulative. It's just meant to get those emotions out, because we all know, good, effective salespeople know that you don't sell on facts, you sell on emotions.
Of course, you do. 95% of buying decisions are based on emotion.
That's right.
It's just that when we use fact to back it up.
Exactly right.
So that's why we all buy BMWs and Audis.